เดี๋ยวทีต้องออกก่อน40 นาทีเพราะว่าแบบออกไปกับลูกอะไรเงี้ย
ชื่ออะไรนะไมเคิลวะไมเคิล
ไมเคิลหวัง
ว่ามิเชลวะชื่อไมเคิลมิเชลไมเคิล
เมื่อกี้เขาพูดว่าไมเคิล
ครึ่งแล้วต้องให้บีนเขาพูดก่อนนะ
เขาจะอินโทรดิว
Yeah.
I want to know something very please, but I should know. But how do you say your last name? Premthada or
Premthada, yeah.
Premthada. Boonserm.
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 Not related.
Premthada. Okay, I want to
Yeah.
make sure that.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah.
happy if I mention you Paula. Paula. Okay. Okay. Excellent. I'm so excited. Yeah. And yeah, it's so your work is so different. It's so unique and so relevant. I'm happy. I'm very happy. I think it's very meaningful and meaningful also in the in the essence of it.
Yeah.
How you work, your attitude to work, your sensitivities.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also very beautiful and very spectacular and very different in the way it looks. But I think it's in the way that you work also, you constitute, you understand what architecture is and what existence is.
We just reply and share my experience. Maybe I come from the third world, you know.
Yes, yeah,
I come from a light and the place is and
it's true, yeah.
light and developing country.
Yes.
You know? So and maybe it and
Yeah, but the idea even of developing is questioned by you because you're changing what is important, right? What is developed. I really love it. I'm so happy that you're here, and it's only the beginning. It's really, permanently.
Thank you.
Or when you want. Yeah, when
Thank you.
want.
Thank you so much.
Was it good with the students today?
That is and the student is and it's very good because it and today I want to review the portfolio in person with the one by one and want to know about and their background and challenge them to change and from they said that they don't want I don't want them to copy yourself in the past.
Yes.
Don't bring the past. Move from the past it become to this project.
This is so
Exactly.
beautiful. Yeah.
It
And-
will challenge them.
And I think that it's, of course, a semester is short,
Yes.
but it will be intense.
Yes.
So you will have the opportunity to spend time with them and really transmit your attitude and your.
Yes. I think so.
Yeah.
I think I will share the experience to them.
Yeah.
with them.
And
I
also
hope that-
they will go with you. They will travel with you and be with you. So it's really good. But it's only the beginning. So this is for me it's the beginning. So I love that you keep coming and then you think what is the next step, the next year, what to go. It's really fun.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, students are still coming.
Okay.
So we have to give them a few minutes.
Okay.
Let's keep them because they're finishing their courses and they're joining. Let's wait 2 minutes, okay? And then
Okay.
we start.
Okay.
And then it's really good. Also, I'm so happy that this is the first lecture of the semester. And then we'll go for dinner. We will,
Yes.
we'll have opportunity to have a conversation with some faculty. Okay? Hello, everyone, both here in Avery and those that are following us elsewhere or in the future. It's a great honor to be here welcoming Boonserm, Premthada, and Paula and Michael Wan. Boonserm's, I'm so honored that it's you giving the inaugural lecture of this 2023 spring semester at GSAP. And also because Boonserm is teaching here an advanced studio, and we're very honored that you're here as part of our gang. So. Boonserm is very well known. He's the founder of the Bangkok Project Studio, together with Paula, and Paula is partner of the office. There's so many distinctions that he's that are the credentials of the work that he's been doing and the studio's been doing. The Royal Academy Dorfman Award in 2019 from the Royal Academy of Arts in London, the Silpa Hawthorne Award in 2019, the UNESCO Global Award for Sustainable Architecture in 2018. We could go on and on. There's a very long list. Also the publications on his work and the work of his office, the huge impact of his interviews, the films about his work, the exhibitions around the world, biennials that have been focused on his work. But I want to say, and of course that's something that we can easily find anywhere online, so I'm not going to dedicate too much time to go through the huge list. Actually, we will take the entire evening to do that. But I want to say that, in my opinion, the work that Bangkok Project Studio has been doing has been really enriching the culture of architecture and allowing it to understand itself differently. We understand architecture differently because of your work. We understand it differently through projects that have allowed to see architecture as something that could be doing other things that are intrinsically connected to what ecology means now. Ecology not necessarily as the culture of efficiency and sustainability, but much deeper, beyond that, a deep understanding of how species coexist and what we can learn from each other, and how ontologies are being challenged by a notion of going beyond anthropocentrism. And that's something that is not only about humans relating to other forms of being, but also the way humans understand what it means to be in the world, not necessarily transforming it, but actually attuning to it. And I want to mention projects that are basically dealing with the capacity of architecture to make it possible for humans to attune with the environment, like the walk at the Wonderful Festival, these passages that allowed humans to be placed in a setting where their sensitivities can expand and understand what it means to be part of the world now, of a world that is not only constructed by humans, but by many other forms of life and existence. Or for instance, projects that are thinking of materiality not as a given, not as something that can be extracted, but something that is part of cycles of life, and that are eventually the result of relationship between different actors. And that's something that, for instance, we could find in the Elephant Theater, in these bricks that are actually related with the material cycles by which life is enacted collectively. And of course, we have Lola Benalon here that is a good expert on this, that it's obviously in conversation. So actually, these work are resonating with the world and with the way architecture is understood differently now. And I also think that the work that Boonserm is doing and his office is doing is about empowerment, with a very, very light touch. It's a project of empowerment, soft empowerment. And I'm thinking, for instance, of a project that was incredibly celebrated around the world and incredibly beautiful, like the woman restaurant, and that got all these awards because of the beauty of its design. But beyond that, it was a project of empowering a community of women that could, through this restaurant, redesign the way they were part of societies and ecosystems. And definitely, the capacity of architecture to produce interspecies alliances. So moving away from a culture of exploitation and extraction, where humans are using and defining the others as sacrificable, but a culture that basically there's an understanding that different species can work and need to live and share life together. And I'm thinking of the Elephant Museum and the Elephant Study Center at Soren. All these are fundamental projects that are expanding the way we understand ecology, not as a project of, let's say, respond to a contingent crisis of basically lack of resources or a problem or something like that, but understanding that those crises are indicating the failure of a system that is placing humans at the center and setting the rest as available for exploitation. And I think this is a fundamental transformation that goes not only about the notion of materiality, but also even the way through our bodies, the way that we can, as humans, sense what it means to be part of a world that is constructed collectively. And this capacity of architecture to span the sensorial capacity to understand that is really an ontological, relational, political project what architecture is part of, and not just the functional one, a one that has to do with how our ecosystems are collectively produced and what are the ideologies and the values that we insert in these alliances is what makes the architecture of Boonserm, Premthada, and the Bangkok Project Studio so important. I think we're very lucky to have you here, and it's a great opportunity to reflect on this. And I'm also very happy that after Boonserm's lecture, Michael Wan will be responding and moderating a debate with everyone here. And I want to also mention how lucky we are to have Michael Wan teaching here at this point in the school. And Michael is, for me, one of the most relevant artists now, and also thinkers and doers and practitioners work in the intersection, I would say, of art, ecological practices in architecture. And I want to mention that the work that Michael is doing, understanding that life is enacted also in the entanglement of biology, technology, finances, infrastructures, is crucial, and understand what means life in this tension of the probably failure, I would say, of advanced capitalism, and understanding how those crises are informed from specific forms of life. It's very much connected to the work that Boonserm is doing. I want to read a sentence that Boonserm said in a recent interview about his architecture, an architecture that takes into consideration the environmental and natural resources, social structure, and at other times, the infrastructure. And I think that this is intrinsically one of the challenges that as a School of Architecture we are now building on. The move from a culture of abstraction, where architecture is understood as an object, as objectual things that live on their own, to understand that what we're working with is the entanglement of architecture with complex systems of life, ecology, finances, technologies, cultures. And those are and in that conflict is where the work on Boonserm and the discussion with Michael Wan makes total sense. So with this, I want you to join me in welcoming Boonserm to this tribune.
And hello everyone, and thank you so much for Dean Andres and the GSAP to having me before and speak in tonight. And this is the speaking is it talk about my experience that I want to share with you and the work in the past and the recent work. So at first when I worked I don't have any theory, I don't have the philosophy. I just did the work with my attitude. This is one of is the important of the core of the work that I always think about that. And it's my background, and I have the hearing problem. My ear is have the problem about it, and my left side, and I cannot hear 0%, and the left side I can here only and 30%. It means it's light and I almost depth and when I was born. So and this is why my work is related to about and the sensation. This is and the first work is and we start in 2011 in a film school and the school is and I want to and make something like and the student who come to study in this school and we use it light and the fundamental of the sense, it's light and seeing, it's hearing, smelling, and temperature and spirit. So and I think that is and when it's and the people it lost and one sense, maybe it enhanced to the other sense. So and this is and the place is for and teach the student. It understand about and how to living with the nature by using that light and the small courtyard to connect it between and the outside and the classroom. And in fact, this and when I decided, I think about and how to create that the ambient or the atmosphere like I designed the wind, dimness, silence, and shadow. And the place I want to and the student learn about and the sense of the human because this is and one of the process of the film study. If you have it and the sense and the feeling, it means like and you still alive it. My architecture is one again, it reminds you that you are still a human. And after that is and I got the scholarship is for and making the research. The research topic that is the one of it related to my life. I call it this research like and the sound brick. The sound brick research is about and the sound in architecture in the past. The case study that I researched is like it, and my first work is the Kantana Film School, and the second is under the temple, and the third one is Brick Clean, and the fourth one is under the temple also, but it's a different. So and the first research that I call like it the sound of the silence in the film school, because when we walk in the pathway of the film school, when you clap the hand, the sound it like the amplify, it is reflected. So and the second place is and I call like and mysterious sound in the Sichum temple, the north of the Thailand. This is 700 years ago of the temple. The temple have to and the biggest image Buddha to and situated to inside the temple. Is it and the place that we have to like the hidden sound because we have to the small is and small gap that is like and a pathway in between in the wall, and I come to and to see the inside and bring the people to know about and what is and the secret sound is come from the image Buddha in the past. This is and the diagram is a study about and when I walk to and the step to in the wall and the people is and come to in it look like and a small hole it near it like and the mouth of the image Buddha it look like and the image Buddha can speak by himself. And another one is and I study about the saturation. It's in the big clean. The place it look like and architecture is for and 5 brick that is related to and my work. But the one thing that is very interesting because it and this architecture is and start from and use 3 fingers and to construct it. To stacking and the big layer, it become to the dome. So and when it the sound the inside, it have to and the sound is different. And the first one is on the South Cape, is in Maheyong Temple. This place is like it's a long pathway, and the wall is very low. So, and when the people to walk to inside, they can hear the sound from the outside, and then they can hear the sound to inside at the same time. So it's like, and this place is very miracle to me. It's about to connect it when in the sound, the outside, the inside. In this research that I have learned that the silence can tell everything. And then it's in 2020, 21st, I work with some with the women, and we call like the women restaurant in Ayutthaya province. The place that is it like you have to the three things for the hidden element. It's like the hidden place, the hidden people, and a hidden recipe. The place is situated in a small village. It looks like the middle of nowhere. Ayutthaya is like the World Heritage Site, but this site is far from the World Heritage Site. It is not the tourist spot. So, this place is comprise the old lady, some with widow, some with unmarried lady. Every morning, the old lady and come to see the temple, and then they bring the food and to give to the monk. This is the daily life of the old lady in this place. The food is very interesting, so I try to bring it the hidden food to become to the one of the interesting food. And for the architecture, I make the architecture it look like it like the food is hidden. So the architecture it look like the hidden in the village also. And we call the name, and we separated it in the 5 buildings. And we give the name. It's like the Ganma Kantong, it's Ganma Ngiem, or it's the name of the Ganma is like it respect them. It's one of the important people. This a place is for the people can visit it. And the inside room, we use it the material that is combined between the forgotten material like the glass box and mixed with the wood and use the large window to open it light to ventilation because it along in the front of the building is the river. I use it the glass box to combine with the wood. And so it's when in the daytime the sunlight is come in the inside. And in the night time it look like a lantern. In the past the grandma is received 14 monthly allowance from the government. It equal about 2.5 big matter per a month. That is very it's less money, It's very difficult to live it. But it right now their life is better. So it's one grandma he don't go to the school, have no educated, cannot write the letter. So he tried to start to write the letter, and in Thai it means thank you for everyone to visit this village. And then it's this is my art installation. It's not about architecture, but it's the curator. It look at me like the artist and architect. So and this is and the project is and that she want me to and make something in the zoo. That is and I call life it and this is and the life tower. It's in the Thailand Benale. It's the Kola Zoo, and this project is and I want to express something about and the art. It can be send the message how to awareness to and the ecology or the environmental. So and then I think about and in the science is very interesting because it is and a science specific art. So and the science is and comprise the animal. So and the animal in the zoo you have to and different because this zoo is and the animal cannot walk around. It not live in the cell. So and the one thing that is unrelated to our culture is the rice. The rice is the food for the human, and the rice is the food for the animal also. So I try to bring and this culture and this environmental to combine together. It becomes to the art piece. I recycle with the rice barn because this rice barn is right now is and the owner don't want to a rice barn because it is look old. They want to a rice barn for the new that made by the metal sheet. So if rice barn is what it and I bring the rice barn is like and to study about and the component, and then it's being the 5 rice barn and take off it and comprise the new one is become to the tower. It and it the place it in and like an animal. It's like and the deer, it a people or and the bird. It can it and use and this place and living this place. And then we start to and sketch with it like and a quick sketch for and this idea and selected the size and make it a drawing. It for it like it and a cloth. It a cloth wood. It for make it the structure is strong. And then make it a drawing for and the contractor can make it. And after that is and the tower is was installed and make it like the tower. The tower is like the oval shape and we and make it like the staircase. It like it and supported to the tower. And when the place that the animal is found nearby the side, it form the people and deer. And when the deer to come to inside to eat the rice, and the bird is come, and the kid can also and can look and climb the star and come to see the animal to inside. And maybe he can come to inside to join. In the daytime, it and the place is for and the human. At the night time, it and the animal it will come to. This place it like and the place for the animal and the human is separated in the time. And to me, I think in the art function as and reflected to the society. It reflecting and emphasizing important issue that the artist wish to convey. And the Light Tower is welcome to visitors to 24 hours a day, no matter how big or small. This is under core being. And then it and we work with and the big animal. It and this and elephant, and we call like the elephant world the project. The idea is and we try to think about the animal first, because the animal in Thailand is a symbol of our country. So we respect the animal. It's like it's some of the important animal. It's like the spiritual animal. So this project is situated in the Surin, northeastern of the Thailand. We start the project from 2015 and finish in 2020. Normally, it's the human is always think about themselves. So with the non-human centered, we try to think about that everyone is equal and everyone is important. So it's my architecture is less the question how the human, nature, and other living species live together. Most architecture is created for the human. The Elephant World Project is takes a non-human centered approach that amplifies the humanity by showing the empathy for the elephant. The project is situated in the place that we call like the Kui people. This is the native people in this village 400 years ago. And now they live there. Elephants in Thailand, they are not slaves of our forced labor. But elephant in this village, it looks like a part of the community. It looks like in a family. In this project, we have to, a place is very interesting. It looks like, when elephant die, we send the elephant to the graveyard. When the elephant born, or we have to ceremony, an elephant and a human come to the temple. And we have to, the pond for the elephant to take a bath, or an elephant walkway, or we have to at a house, or spiritual of people and elephant can live together. It's one time when the urbanized has taken away the forest and the traditional way of the living. It caused drought and difficulty to grow the elephant food. The forest was destroyed. They have no choice. So the keeper, the elephant, have to go to in the city, like a tourist city. On the way, they have to accident. Sometimes they die. The project is commissioned by a local government to want to create the new home. It's for the elephant, and it want to restore the destroyed forest. I started the idea with the first get to try to understand about and the elephant is like a human, and so we try to make them to understand. It's like the characteristic of the elephant. It's like the elephant movement. It's like a comparison is between a human and elephant steps. Even we study about the elephant vision. In fact, the elephant is different than the human. They like we call it the bi-color. So they can see it like the gray color. One thing that elephant is it's very good is smelling ability. They can smell about maybe almost 20 kilometers. They can smell about the water. That's why the elephant we call like the animal who is an umbrella species. So when the elephant die, we bring the elephant to the graveyard. This project, we have two tea facility. The first is a big observation tower. The second is a cultural courtyard. And the third one is an elephant museum. We try to integrate that in the existing village. The first building is the tower. The tower is what the design is by is connected with the sky and the cloud. It looks like the place of the landscape. It's not the vertical. It's horizontal in the skyline. Mostly we design it the tower. It want to last the people to the top. To me, I think it every story is very interesting, and so I want to the people to walk and climb up the star and just it slow down to spend the time in every floor. And in this place, it's very good ventilation. So the building is designed like use in the air, the natural air to blow. Even it's the structure and the floor and the staircase, and the place is for and the wind can blow it. One thing in this place, the wind velocity is very interesting. So when the people to climb up to the top, I use the wind velocity. It's like wind speed. It's about 25 to 30 kilometers per hour. To use to hold it at apitong seat and can blow. The apitong seat it look like helicopter wing. So when we blow it, and that is why we make it a tower in this area, because the forest was destroyed. We want to make something right. And observation tower is not only the tower, but it's the first tree that it gives birth to the other tree in the area. In the future, we cannot see the architecture. We will see the tree, the cover in this architecture. This is my proposal. The architecture is not only the architecture, but it's a part of the landscape. And another building is the cultural courtyard. We aim to use this courtyard is for the recreation and cultural event and religious ceremony. The idea is come from the village people house, the Koi house. I interesting about the column and the footing, and try to study about the footing in this village. So one thing is like the characteristic is the gable roof. The elephant and the people live together in this house. So we try to make it the space. It like it make it sloping mound and make it a bench for the people, and the plant pot it for the native tree to be planted. And the idea is make it a big roof. The big roof is we cut it in the middle. It's make it with a big hole, and then we cut it a small hole, and let the sunlight from the outside to inside, and make the theater with for the people it can sit it. And this is wiring us the whole from the roof. And we bring the elephant to walk it like it's like the pathway. It normally it's the elephant. It's like the animal. So they like it freedom to walking. So I design it like it the theater. It look like free shape. But elephant is sometimes we have to be careful, because it's an elephant is a big animal. It's sometimes they taste it, so we have to like it. It's a left line. It is a boundary It's the boundary to the safety. But I don't want to make it like the rail to protect it. So I make it, I bring the stone, it's a big stone that would come from that area to lie it and the boundary between the human and the elephant. The space is for and human, and the place is for and the elephant also. And we compare between and human scale and the elephant scale. And we look at it as something, the lifestyle of the elephant. Sometimes the elephant is itchy. They use their body to light it and scratch on the column. So in this building, we make it like the column that the elephant can scratch it. The architecture is not only about the architecture. I try to think about the architecture, maybe it become to the infrastructure. Elephant need the water. In this area, it's very hot. Sometimes, in the summertime, and we lack of the water. It's a long time. So I dig the soil and make the pond, and then I bring the soil to burn the theater. This is the idea that I try to make is bring the natural resource that become to the architecture. This is the way that is if the elephant have to find the water, they have to use about it's very, very far. So if we make it like the pond, the new pond, it's close to an elephant can use it. So an elephant is happy to take a bath in the pond. And about the museum. This museum is it's different from the museum in Thailand because normally in Thailand we like to make the museum like the multimedia museum. So it's very trendy in Thailand. So to me, I think about in this place it's like in middle of nowhere. So the museum it look like the place is for the elephant. It's like people can use in this museum also. So this museum it look like it's a part of the museum in the village. The idea is the come from the Kui's house. The Kui's house has no door, so we just have they just did the design like the wall. So I think this idea is become to an elephant museum. They have no door, so when the elephant come to this pathway, it's like it's a place is for an elephant. And when the people come to this museum, so we have to follow the elephant to walk to inside. Sometimes it makes the people to feel like it's a surprise. It's like me when the first time that I visited the site, I found the elephant in the forest. So this is it surprised me. So for this museum, I think about normally it's the museum we have to put the object to inside. But it's to me, I think it's the object it should outside. The people should leave the inside. So the place is like the people look at the elephant is the outside, and the people it look like the animal in the room. So the museum is I want to the people to know about the Kui people, it's their story and from their mouth. Because this is the museum of the village. It's like than this uncle. And this uncle is and his son was killed by his elephant. And I will ask him about and what would you like to do and for your elephant after your son was killed by your elephant. And he said that, and do you want me to bring my elephant to call the police? Do you want me to call the police to bring my elephant to go to the cell? And he said that, no, I cannot do that my elephant is one of my son. They are my family. This is and the story is from and the people who live there. This is I want the visitor to come here and listen about and their story from their mouth. It's a place. It's like I call it like a life museum, and make the new skyline and look like at the landscape. In fact, I design in this project only 50%. The rest is fulfilled by the nature. This is my local spirituality of the unskilled labor are the rawness, imperfect, mistakes, and surprising. My architecture performs three functions: preserving the culture, reviving the forest, and build a self-sustained community. When the project is starting, and the first day of the construction is until the project was finally launched. And during the COVID-19 pandemic, this architecture is brought the elephant back home, and good people put down the sticker and start to hold the selfie stick to broadcast their lifestyle to the people in the world. Respect to each other is very important. For in this project, I have learned that sometimes the animal can transform the city, bring hope and power to the human. Humanity is not just about the human relationship. We address our humanity through our relationship with other living creatures on the planet. The respect and the contempt we show toward the animal reflected the value of us as a human race. After that, we got invited from Vasai Benale. So one thing that is I have the experience while I work in an Elephant World project. So this is one of my develop of an idea. Normally it's elephant food, and they are they eat like it's the grasses. For example, it's like the napier grass, banana grass, and sugar cane. So the elephant eat a lot. When they eat it, I found some proof with the proof is with every place, in the house, in the pathway, in the forest. So I think the proof is a lot. So I try to think about how to use the poof or the dung from the elephant to to make it value material, and then we make it the brick mold. It's like the round brick mold made for the elephant dung brick. And the brick is made one by one. We mix like the elephant dung and the small cement to mix together. This is not a fry big that it is and this is and the air dry big. And it's become two and the brick that it, we start to give an idea to make and the pavilion in and the Versailles that situated in and the king of Versailles in and Versailles Palace. The dung is formed with and the village that it become to and situated in the palace in Versailles. We produce and this pavilion in Thailand and ship to the Versailles and install by and the craftsmanship. We have to only and through craftsmanship and we have to only and 7 days and for install and this installation. And the install is finished and we collaborated with and the landscape school in Versailles. We give it like and the name of and the glass that the elephant eat. And the landscape school is try to compare about and the glass that it, the animal can eat is the same. So this is and the place for light and we call light and living architecture. That is a place for and light and animal to can live to inside. And being the sum of and the final task is for the it look like our spirituality. We normally we use and light the multi-color linen to and light and the type in the tree. It means light and we want to protect the tree. So and this idea is become to the final task. It make and the space to have to light as and place it for the spirituality. And this is an opening day for and people to come. The elephant dung is and not only make the pavilion, it make us to and the good health. It like in and I try to and bring the knowledge from the global south. It's like and the material, and know-how, and the culture from our country to share and the people in France, especially the future generation to learn it. And at the same year, I got invited from and the Royal Academy of Art in the summer exhibition in London. So and the curator is want to and want me to and to make the elephant dung again. So and then I try to make the something, but this way is different from in the west side. The west side is made from the Thailand, but it and in UK it's and we want me to and give the knowledge to share for and the young generation. So and the dung is and can make it from and Colchester Zoo because it and in Colchester Zoo we have to and 2 elephants and so we can and produce and the dung it and made from the London. So this and I think that is and very good to share an idea from and in UK. And so and the young generation is and make it like the some of the students is some of and the young architect who make it a workshop. And I send the mold from the Thailand to them. The dung is and this dung is made from like and lamb mixed with and the dung. And so this big is lighter than it and the Thai elephant dung from Thai big. When we installed it and we make it like it's a tower, and when it's and the critic come to see and give under the comment before and give under the idea before and this work and make it the final task. The final task is to me in this place. I want to show about how and the goal attack to the dance. So this is one of my message to send to the people to see the art installation. It's like I think that in Europe that is under developing region with the color of the scientific advanced, like the thinker, like the philosopher and the artist. For my work, I want to reflect a person who come from an area with a natural resource, where the people are kind, humble, and rely on their instinct to survive in the mindset of the limitation. I hope to give a new perspective that the people in Europe will be able to learn from it. And another project is I call like the Nelamit. The Nelamit is one of the building in the Wonderful Festival. The Wonderful Festival is the festival is about sustainability. So in this year is I designed the one pavilion. It looks like at the town hall. It's like a multi-purpose in the area. The idea is is related to about I want to show about in the past that the human use the animal to pull. It's like the vehicle. So in this Nelamit, it's different. I want the human to put the structure, and it looks like the animal in the past. So this structure is very heavy, about 52 tons. So we spend around 60 people to put this structure to move it. When we put this structure, because it's in the background, you will see it like the forest. So if you put in the front, you have to more space. I want to talking about in this pavilion, it not only the pavilion, but it look like it the backstage of the show. Normally we have to the stage it's like in the front, in the background of the stage. But I think it's like when we use it like the stage is like the perspective. So this is the idea that we want to relate it. And I want to obstruct the view of the forest at the backstage. And the roof, we design it like the roof becomes the ventilation. It's like a stack roof, but we have to the gap is for the wind. It can blow. So this pavilion is warm. It's very cool in the daytime and the nighttime. A space for the people can live and enjoy in the activity for the 24 hours. And the detail of the structure. In fact, it's the Nelamit is a lark, and I think it is a lark in humility and respect for the nature. In the same festival, I have to another building. So the building is the made from like the old wood. It's like the recycled wood. This place we call like the open kitchen. The space for the kitchen from like the grandmother who bring the food and the kitchen to make inside it. So I selected the wood. The wood is from the old tobacco factory So right now they don't use the wood yet. So I try to bring a recycled wood and select it and build and become to the new one. I created for and the like it's a big window. It for and open and close it. And sometimes when we work it, we have to other side and help it and the worker to install. And the big window is what we open. When we open, we keep and the wind will blow. So and at night and many people is and come to and on the second floor and sleep there. So and they don't want to go back to the hotel. And the place is for and we try to use and the wood and light and make it and new compost. It's for the new structure. And we have to a small building that is related to an open kitchen. I call like a foodscape because it and this is and the building is related to and to produce and recipe is produce and some of and the plant. So and it like and the insect hotel. So I make it. I bring it the recycled wood. It make it for the insect hotel, or the chicken coop, or the compost bin. This is and one of the part that I call the foodscape in this project. And the last one, this is and the house. The house is and in the project is and we call like is the back of the house. Normally, we design the house. It like it, and we like to show it the front of the house because the house is an interesting when we look from and rotate. So this is and my idea. I want to and the house is reverted, it seems like the T-shirt. So and like it and. The inside is invisible on the outside. This is at the front of the house. There is an I decided like and the house look like it's a solid. It just have to the small door and the small window. Because it and in this house it and in the front we have nothing to see. Because the house is facing to and the townhouse, so if the townhouse don't want to see and the people in the opposite side, so I think the people in the house don't want to see the townhouse also. So and we make it the house is like it's a solid. But in the back of the house, it's very good. It's very good view and very good temperature because the wind it blow it from the south. This back of the house is and it's oriented and to and the south. So and we open the house at the south side and make it like and that I have said that it's an imperfection. It's like and when we stacking we mentally it's like at the mortar. So it's and one thing that is normally it and the mortar it's like that it's not in front but inside. So I think it's and maybe it's very interesting is to me. I want to show that this one. So and when the people come, this is and when we come to inside, the space in front it look like it's solid. It look like the closet. But for the inside, we open with to and the light, and we open to and the wind to come to inside, and make it like easy. The structure is made from the concrete, but with some part is made from the small railing. It's light and heavy and lighter. It can combine together. And use the brick. It's almost everywhere in this place. And this is on the second floor. We always use the big window and to open for and retrieve the wind from an outside. It's like the back of the house is very good view because it looks like the forest in the city. And next light and the one of the parts of the element, it become to the not the built-in structure, but it look like and one of the parts of element of the architecture, it become to the furniture. And this is on the third floor, it's like on the workplace. This is on the back of the house. The house is not perfect. When we design the house, we confront with something like, and when we use, yes, and we have to something like the mistake. And this picture is my son and my daughter. We try to and protect the land from and the outside because it and this side it and the water is leaked because it and the land coming. So and this is and the life. This is my house. I work the house. This house is driving me to be and to be it and the quality of work. So and I think it's and I make the house. I want to warning myself about and never forget where I come from in the past. This is and the way of the thinking. And the first question that asked me about who am I? Yes, right now I am a human. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. First one. He only hear this side.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Boonserm and Paula, for sharing that work. There were so many just incredibly beautiful and poignant projects. And I kept thinking how I wished I could really be in those spaces and experience them, but because of the way you describe them, there's so much more than visual experiences, that there's this element of sound and of touch, and also something so relational about those projects, like being in relationship with other people and with other species, with the plants and materials that make up these projects. But I was also thinking that even if I were to go to these places, that to really experience them and to really be a part of them, I would have to kind of be engaged in all the processes that make up those spaces, like whether those are like the lifespan of an elephant, and to kind of experience the death of an elephant at that site, or just the day-to-day rhythms of sort of living with and caring for these other creatures, or even like the digestive cycles that make up the elephant dung bricks. And so I was thinking it was something to kind of an architecture that actually, even if I were to go to, I wouldn't fully experience. So I'm wondering if you can just talk about some of those different kind of temporal and kind of process-based dimensions of these works, and how you think about kind of engaging with those different temporalities at a particular site.
Yeah, yeah, right. Okay.
ก็แบบเหมือนทำถึงเรื่อง temperature แล้วก็ integrated แต่ละโปรเจกต์
อะไรนะเอาใหม่
เกี่ยวกับแบบ temperature แล้วก็แบบแต่ละโปรเจกต์
temperature
integrate
and
process อะไรอย่างเงี้ย
it's about the climate. Yeah, and for and in the project it like and in Thailand we live it like, and if you see the project it like in the middle of nowhere. It normally it and the project situation in the local area. It we don't have the project in the city, even it's under my house. So and we think about and when we decide it and the project, we try to understand about and what you call like and site specific. It's like the artist, you know. With the site specific is and talking about not only about and the context, but it related to about and the nature. It related about the climate. It related about and the season also, because it and every place it have to different. So and it and my project is and when we talk about and the temperature in light and the film school. When you come to inside, then I decided like the pathway. So it's the pathway not only about the sound, but the pathway is related about the wind blow. So and this is and like and the way that I try the people to like the connected the people, the connect the people to when out of the room and come to use and this pathway. It feel like and the people to come to the outside. At first it and the client it don't like it. Yeah. The client, the professor, the student it don't like it because it when it the rain come, so and they ask me that it what happened when it the rain comes. You have to know roof it. So I said that it's yes, when the rain comes, you will wet it. He said, why? I said, why? Because it and we are the human, you know, and you will be it and film director. You will be and like you work with light and the film. The film is the outdoor. If the rain comes, how do you solve the problem? This is under the way that it and we work like the 24 hours. The film school, like the artist, like the architect. So and we have to strong. So it's like it the place it the professor is asked me about it, the floor. It's not smooth it, because it have to the small stone a lot it. So I said that if you set up the light at the camera, you have to think that. Because when you go to outdoor shooting, the outdoor shooting is the floor is not smooth. So you have to think before you set up and the camera stand. So it's like another project in Sulin province is the brick tower. This is very good wind. I use in the wind to blow the apitong. So because it and I don't know it and normally why we have to make it a high-rise tower for what it. But in this area, I use the high-rise tower is for plant the seed. Use the plant the tree.
And so you said you like difficulty, and so part of that is kind of encouraging these kinds of these sensory encounters that you might otherwise avoid. and you're kind of forcing an encounter with these more difficult sensory experiences. When you talked about this importance of site specificity, when you are kind of in a site, like how do you actually go about engaging with that site and kind of forming these collaborations with all of the kind of agents and living things and materials that you're going to work with? Like how do you establish those relationships and kind of select your, like, kind of the co-conspirators in kind of creating a place?
คือเหมือนกับว่าเรื่องไซส์สเปซิฟิกอะไรอย่างเงี้ยเพื่อมันนกว่าแบบทำไมถึงแบบสามารถแบบพิสูจน์ถึงแบบเอาเรื่องพวกสปิริชวลเรื่องอะไรเข้ามาเกี่ยวได้
You know, it's in Thailand, the nature and the spiritual is the same. It's like we call in Thailand we call it the river. In Thai we call a river we call แม่น้ำ แม่ is mean mother, น้ำ it mean water. So we call like Mana is mean that culture and nature it can combine together. So this is everything it have to the spiritual. It's like if you see the tree that I use and the multicolor linen is tied for the tree. The people is believe that if you use this linen to cover the tree, it means you cannot touch it. Because we have to some spiritual, we have to the God to inside. So this is the way of how to protect the tree in this country. So it's like it's related to about the culture and the nature. We cannot separate it.
So you're able to enter through those different dimensions, both the kind of spiritual dimension, because it's one and the same with these sort of material and living dimensions of the site.
Yeah.
And you talked about this idea of living architecture, and there is a sense that so many of these buildings and projects, they have this more active, kind of performative dimension, that they're not static. They're like the forest continues to grow as people kind of ascend that tower and spread the seeds. Or even I imagine some of these kind of experimental materials, they probably will change over time. Like I imagine the dung bricks change over time. So what is that? How do you kind of choreograph or think about the way that the building or the larger site evolves?
คือเหมือนกับว่าอย่างแบบทุกอย่างมันเปลี่ยนได้ตลอดใช่ไหมอย่างแบบป่ามันก็โตขึ้นกับเราแล้วก็ดังบริกมันก็แบบเหมือนกับเปลี่ยนได้แล้วแบบว่าคือพี่ก็คิดว่าจะทำยังไงต่อไปอะไรอย่างเงี้ย
when we think about it, like everything is it depends on life and like the time. It depends on life and the situation. I come from the working class, you know. My family teach me about everything is important. So I think it's everything we can use it. Even it's unvalue, it become something is unvalue to the other people. But the people from the working class, that everything is very value. So the time we don't understand about the recycle for the 50 years ago. We never heard about the word is sustainability in our country. We never heard it. But this is our behavior. Right? And when we want to make the clothes, we just grow with light and the seal, it's warm, like to make the seal. So when we have the food, but the food is it remain to it's like the waste food. we bring the food, the two and the pig, the chicken to eat. And so, and we try to look at everything to make life and it benefits for the life. It life, if you see it's and my work it and that you see like it one sketch that I sketch to a recycled paper. It in light and the light tower. I want to show that I reminded myself when I was young. So we have no paper. We just only about and the pencil. So and the paper is a recycled paper. It comes from the newspaper. So that's why we draw something on the newspaper to learn it by myself. And this in this way it remind me in the past. So and like now I become to use and the idea when I was young to become to like now. And I try to like, because in Thailand we have to the money crisis. As you know that it's unlike and research economic 20 years ago. So it's everything is bankrupt, that everything is broken, the people lost the job. So we try to think about and if we can use the thing for life and everything is important, it's valuable. So, yeah.
There's something, that sense of kind of regeneration, of sort of using existing materials and the kind of thriftiness that's embedded in that seems really important. I'm wondering if it's also tied to the kind of rural context that you're often working in, that kind of need to kind of use everything at hand and kind of think about the full kind of life cycle of the materials and of the kind of buildings themselves. And in a way, you talked about kind of decentering the human, but I also felt there's some kind of like decentering the urban in the work, and it's sort of focused on these rural sites.
I think we cannot separate that about and with everything in the world. I think it's and everything we can combine. We have to listen to the combine. The elephant, the human look at them like the animal. If the elephant asked me back then, the elephant look at me like what? I think they don't think about, they don't look me like a human. They look at me like something. It's like something like control. You know, it's but it's if you give the feeling to the elephant, it's like the elephant, it's like the friend, son. This is it makes the animal understand. It's like you have to pet it. So if you sometimes you angry your pet it, you hit it. But in this village, it look like they don't want to hit the elephant because this is a different way. Because we have the one thing it's like the spirituality.
And maybe just one last thing, and then I'll open it up. I mean, you've talked a lot about the value of what is hidden or of things that are mysterious and not fully known. And I almost think the way you're talking about the gaze of the elephant, you can't ever fully know the kind of mind of the elephant too. And maybe you can talk about how you value things that are not entirely revealed or entirely known.
It's in Thailand, you know, we use an elephant like it's a long time. We use the elephant for the war. If you see it in the picture, so in Thailand we respect the elephant because the war it like it and they can protect the country. It, the elephant it look like a soldier who come to fight in the war. So and the people is respect them. So and it not look like the animal. So, and for the culture, it's like and we bring the elephant to like a symbol. It's like if you see it and the former flag in Thailand, we use an elephant to like a symbol, and we use the elephant to and like and some of the logo of the beer in Thailand. So it's very famous beer, and it's the same. We use and the lion in the beer also. So you know it's, and that's why it's the reason that and the people in Thailand we respect the animal. So and I think it's and this is and traditional. From the ancestor, it teaches us it a long time, and we try to and like to understand about and yes, it maybe it's and it look surprising for the foreign people, but it, I think this is and our way to and one is and we try to protect the animal, like the other species.
So in a way, you don't need to, the elephant world is sort of a microcosm for this larger world that the elephant is already a part of. It's already this sort of potent symbol and kind of a part of almost like kind of an everyday life world.
elephant world ต่างกับอย่างอื่นยังไงอธิบาย
All this is and it's like and the elephant is and the biggest animal in this in our country. So and right now the elephant is you know it's very difficult to find. Elephants have to and long life. So it's normally it's an elephant about and 80 or and 100 year old. It will die. So and the elephant is like and the animal is and it's not different from the small animal. So and the elephant is like it related it for as you said that it related to and the Thai culture and related to the Thai spirituality.
ต่างกับที่อื่นยังไง elephant world หมายถึงว่าช้าง elephant world
Oh, this is and in the elephant world is and it's different because it and this village is and 400 years ago that they live with and Kui people together, not separated.
Yeah. They're already kind of a unit in a way. You can't just separate the people from the elephants.
Yes. It's normally it's and in the I don't know it's and other places and other country, they feed the elephant. We have to lie and the cage for the elephant can live there. But if you see in this picture, the elephant is live in the one house. So that we separated. In the one part is the human, and another part is for the elephant can sleep there. And this is and the elephant is a domestic animal. The people it usually comment about why we don't let the elephant in the forest. That I said that this is and this is elephant in this project and they're familiar to and the human. So the human is love them. It's like the family also.
Yeah.
So and if you let them to in the forest, they don't know how to find food. This is and it finally it's like and if you go to if the elephant is go to in the forest, so you will see like and another elephant that live in the forest. So the elephant will frighten.
Yeah.
It took like and you have it like the mafia in the forest that it will the bully. If you are a domestic elephant, you cannot live there.
Yeah, so they have this kind of mutual dependency
Yeah,
between
Yes,
the people
yes,
and the elephants.
yes. We try to make it and the quality of place for a domestic elephant. We try to make to and people to understand about and the way of the living. The elephant in Thailand is different with elephant in the world. It's different from the elephant in another part or another continent.
Yeah, so it's why this museum is so, it's not replicable in a way.
Yeah.
It's like very
Yeah.
specifically rooted to this relationship in
Yeah.
this particular place and time.
Yes, 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 yes.
I wanted to open it up and see if there were other questions. Over here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Boonserm, for your really beautiful work and humble work. And I want to ask something about the exercise you did with the elephant dung, because it seems that you did even a perceptual exercise or act of using dung from the raw material to placing it in an installation and then in a gallery space. So with all the understandings of how dung is part of kind of a bodily a waste or fluid, or it has different enzymes, and right. I know dung is usually not smelly for elephants, so it probably doesn't have odor, but still the notion. So I wanted to ask you, you said how you overcome variability with dung in one place in Thailand and versus dung in the UK, and the difference in their weight, and how you added lime to the dung from the UK. But how did you encounter the perceptual exercise working with students when you sent them the mold, and they used the dung with curators, with other designers, with visitors, with regulators, right? Inserting variable materials or geological or waste materials to gallery space, can occur in different reactions. And then, so how was your work on that kind of lens of perception on the material?
โอเคก็คือเหมือนแบบเขาสงสัยเขาอยากจะให้พี่สมอธิบายเรื่องไอ้elephant dung ที่ Royal Academy อะว่าแบบคือเหมือนแบบคิดได้ยังไงว่าทำไมถึงต้องเอาลามมาใส่แล้วก็แบบว่ามีวิธีสอนแบบเด็กได้ยังไงแล้วแบบทำไมเหมือนกับกระบวนการอะว่าดังที่แวร์ซายกับดังที่อันเนี้ยมันไปอยู่ในแกลเลอรี่ได้ยังไงอะไรอย่างเงี้ยแล้วก็ต่างกันยังไงก็อาจจะเล่าเรื่องคุณสมบัติของลาม
Okay. And thank you. And the dung the dung big in Versailles, and as you know that we make from Thailand. So and the because it's under the curator. The curator is one that everything made from the original. Everything is like and the piece. It must come from the original country, made from native people. So and the way of the curator that think about and if and the people in France that they want to know. They want to know about and if and the brick is from and my country is set up in this palace. So and what happened because it and this big is and can situated in the outside in the courtyard. But in Royal Academy they use it like and I call like the experimental. But I cannot is and the quality control to them, but it looked like an experimental. It's about between and cement and lime because it and in UK we think about and the cement is like and the material is and it's like and what is it, carbon. It makes the carbon dioxide even if used in a little bit. But so they try to make another way and give me two opinion about and if we change from the cement it become to the lime. It's better. I said that it's okay. It's not better because it and the lime is like an okay. It's an geo material. It's lighter, but it's not strong. In and we call like a website big. We test it. We test it the compressed. We test it the strength. We test it and the strong in the standard compressed. But in London and it is not the standard for the strong. So and this is and the way is different. But it's and
อาหารของชามเลย
the food from and the elephant in Thailand, the elephant eat the grass, so it's like Napier grass, and the grass is very strong. But in Colchester Zoo, it's and the elephant eat and like the apple,
banana
banana. So it and the recipe is different. So and the strength of and the dung is different. So this is and but by the way, and I think it's and we can share about and knowledge because it and it, to me it's and sustainability is challenge. We can challenge in the world because it and we have no secret about that because it and we confront in the same problem right now. So, but we have to use in the same language to solve the problem. The sustainability is the same language that we can use it. Even it's like in the people that come to and many countries use a different language. It's right now, but you cannot use a different language. Like it and sustainability. Yeah. But to me, sustainability it means like awareness. It feels like the responsibility for and our world.
Did anyone else have a question? I think over here.
I mean, first of all, thanks for this refreshing lecture. It's incredible to see like buildings addressing these like notions of more than human projects or more than human context. However, I would like to ask you about the role of the buildings, like in these specific contexts, in these specific areas, since like basically the act of construction is violent sometimes, like even in the forest is even more violent. So I just wonder, I mean, I would like to ask you, what do you think about the future of the building, like about the future of the act of construction, like in this new idea and this new paradigm of how we need to learn how to like relate with the more than human species. Thank you.
คิดว่านะประมาณว่าแบบเขาอยากจะถามว่าแบบไอ้ building ในอนาคตอะควรจะเป็นยังไงบางทีมันไปอยู่ในป่ามันก็มีความแบบมันแบบ control ไม่ได้หรืออะไรอย่างเงี้ยคือตามความเห็นที่ฉันคิดว่าแบบไอ้ building ที่เหมือนแบบควรจะในอนาคตอะควรจะเป็นยังไงอะไรเงี้ยตามสถานที่อะไรเงี้ย
I think it's and in the future we have to maneuver. We have to maneuver many ways to and to build the building. So, but we have to another way to unbuild. You have to think before you build it, you know. And it's not important to build, not build. It's just innovating. In the future, you ask me and you just look and something is important to do that. If important, if you necessary, you can do. You do. If not important to do that, okay, you can wet it. Wet it. Because if you build too much, you know, the architect that is produced to an university is, and maybe you build too much for in Thailand. Even build everything that sometimes I very confused about and why you build this one. In Thailand, we have to, right now, money festival. Build a lot that, when you build a lot that, the festival make it like the waste material after the festival finished. We have to think about and after we build it, where the building will go. So it can, I don't know, I answer your question, but I think it
Yeah, something that I deeply appreciated in the work you showed was just how permeable a building is. It's sort of both the building and the landscape, and the inhabitants and the visitors and the microbes and the creatures that live and pass through and kind of make up this kind of larger network of experiences that kind of surround the building. And I think this sort of before and after the building is also something that you're very kind of attentive to, and kind of, you know, the building puts these tendrils into sort of all the domains that kind of surround and touch on it.
This is, and I think it is in the way of, and it's my opinion, this is, and the way of, and the poor technique, poor people technique. That like, and we, if we don't have the money, then why you have to try to find the money to build it? Okay, we just it and look at the something. It's like if it's value, we keep it. Just do only it if it's necessary. Do. If not necessary, don't do that.
Great. I think unless there are any other pressing questions, one more. We'll take one more.
Only if there's.
Go ahead.
If there's room. Swadika, I think this was an extraordinary, moving, not even just body of work, but series of questions that you shared. And I would just love to tap into the one of violence, which I love so much in terms of also how you contextualize your work, or how your work contextualizes itself in terms of the kind of entanglement that was mentioned, or detanglement at the beginning. And I guess what I'm specifically asking for is what you think, and how would you think about scaling your work if this is not too basic of a question? Also in terms of what makes your work so specific. And I'm not even just talking about that human, non-human context with the elephant and natural versus the artificial environment, but I'm also talking about the kind of question of how can we locally learn, even within the Thai context, of not making the kind of global mistakes of what my dear friend was speaking about in terms of violence. When you drive through Chiang Mai or Krabi or Phuket or Patong, and you see the same type of 30, 50 million baht type of houses that people kind of built, their own totally closed off villages that could very much be in Scotland or Northern England or Eastern Germany, where in fact a lot of people relocate, right? And kind of set up camp, but they also bring financial, architectural, environmental tool sets with them from places oftentimes the European context, not understanding the kind of local one that you are introducing with your work and with the materiality and with I think also the typologies that you're introducing without, I guess, relying on that cookie cutter notion and like influx of really like money from other places, like to Thailand, kind of almost like replacing what's so locally available, which is what you're working on. So like, do you see, is there any hope, I guess, like from the inside out, like locally kind of populating that global question of how do I resist in a way that influx of both money and then also a particular type of living, the same type of materials and windows and like kind of that repetition that then becomes its village within a village versus like, I guess like what you are so successfully and movingly push for, that kind of coexistence?
Yeah. ต้องตอบด้วยก็เหมือนกับว่าแบบเขาพูดถึงว่าแบบแบบ
ทำมือออก
เหมือนกับว่าแบบเรื่องแบบสเกลของนะครับจะเป็นเรื่องแตกต่างกันแล้วแต่ว่าเขาก็คิดว่าคือทำยังไงถึงแบบเรื่องโลคอลอ่ะก็คือมันแบบมันมีความโลคอลเข้ามาแล้วก็จริงๆมันดีกับที่แบบเหมือนเขาก็เห็นเม็ดเงินที่เข้ามาประเทศไทยในการสร้างในภูเก็ตแบบนี้พวกอินเวสเตอร์ ต้องตอบ
You ask me? Yes, maybe it's and you know it's like and okay. It's sustainability is not only about architecture. I understand it, but sustainability is and related to about the economic also. But how can we balance it between and the economic and the architecture? So and that's why I answer them about and because it and you know it's and it's my country. In fact, we have to a lot of the problem. So and then the problem sometimes I cannot talk it. So and this is and yes, if we look at in and about and the global economic. It's like it and our forest that you see in and Sulin. When the economic is grow, the environment, the forest was destroyed. This is and the we have to balance. We have to rethink about it. How to make them you can live in and the growing economic. But you can protect with our environmental together.
You started your talk with the word attitude, and I feel like what your work does so incredibly is kind of models other attitudes towards living together with other beings, other ways of sort of living on this planet. And I think so many of the projects just sort of, they put forward this kind of lived version of that attitude. What does it mean to live those attitudes and give form to those attitudes?
Even it's like it, and when the natural resource was destroyed, it's right now, natural resource maybe is situated in Thailand, but you know, it's not. This is not the Thailand, but this is natural resource of the world. You know. It's not only to my country, it's the world, it's the like it and the world property. If we and you destroy the natural resource in this place, it means like it affect to and the world. That's why and the time is not and about and non-human center that I talked. It's like now and how. And where we go after the non-human center. I would like to say that now this is an Earth Center.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.